First of all, your general feeling on this Dodger, now California Senate honor to this group. How do you see it?
Well, it's ridiculous. I mean, this was so egregious that's why I felt the need to speak up. I did so in the social media world, on Twitter and so on. But it was such a extreme example of anti-Catholicism. I don't know how the church couldn't respond. So I wanted to use, my social media platform to do it. That the California state government is honoring this group doesn't really surprise me. I was auxiliary bishop of LA for 6 years, and we dealt with the government out there a lot. Anti-Catholicism is indeed the last acceptable prejudice in America. But I think it's time for the church boldly and clearly and articulately to stand up to it.
But it's also Christians, not just the Catholic
Yeah.
Church. When you have a strip show featuring Jesus and Mary, that's beyond Catholic borders into Christianity itself, correct?
Yeah, quite right. I mean, the one that really got my attention was, I think it was on Easter Sunday, they had a display where they took the figure, it was a living figure, off the cross, and then another person did a kind of pole dance on the cross of Jesus. So here's the most sacred event and object in the Christian universe. And it's being, in a public, gross way, mocked about as horribly as possible. Well, how do Christians, I think you're quite right, not just Catholics, how do Christians stay silent in the face of that?
Jesus overturned the moneylenders' tables in the temple in a righteous demonstration of anger. And that's what I'm doing here in the media. I'm trying to emulate Jesus of Nazareth in a sense that I'm trying to say enough. But when you have powerful forces like the Senate of California, the Los Angeles Times, which applauds this group, the Dodgers, and on and on and on, and then you have no reply from the most powerful Catholic clerics, they are emboldened by that, Bishop. These people who are attacking Christianity are emboldened by the lack of reply, that turn the other cheek and ignore it, right?
Yeah, well, of course, turn the other cheek has nothing to do with, non-resistance to evil. It's a form of resisting evil. The church should speak up, and it should engage the laity. So what you're doing, I think, is what Vatican II had in mind, that great Catholic journalists and writers and cultural commentators should engage these issues. Under the leadership of the bishops and through the sanctification offered by the sacraments, but all the Catholic laity should be aroused about this. I'll give you an example, Bill. A few years ago when I was out in California, they were making noises about passing a bill that would require priests to break the seal of confession around the sex abuse issues. And I remember saying at the bishop's meeting, I think, brothers, we gotta draw a line in the sand here. And so we did. And we roused our own people, and they flooded Sacramento with so many petitions and complaints that they backed down. And I think it proves we can do it when we have the will and we have the focus. And this woke business has gotten so out of control, and this is a prime example of the church just being knocked around in the public space. But it's not just the priests and bishops, it's the Catholic faithful, the laity, that have to say enough.
Okay, but they have to know about it when you have the three most powerful broadcasters, CBS, NBC, and ABC, blacking. Were you surprised they didn't even cover this story?
No, I'm not surprised by it. No.
Do you think they're anti? Do you think those networks are anti-Christian?
I think there's an element of that. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't make bold to speak too much further about that, but I think I'm not surprised, to answer your question, that they didn't put that in the forefront of their coverage. Somehow it's okay. It's always open season on Catholics. God knows we've been through our struggles, and I wrote a book about the sex abuse scandal and all that. But it doesn't mean that, therefore, we can never raise our voices in protest, especially when we're being attacked in this extremely aggressive way.
Don't you think that the clergy at the top, not just in America, but all over the world, is afraid? I mean, I know Dolan pretty well. I with all due respect to him, because I say he's a good man, I think he's afraid. There's no other reason why he would remain silent.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't, presume to speak for him. I don't really know. My former boss, Archbishop Gomez out in LA, made a statement about this. A handful of other bishops have indeed spoken out. But I wouldn't presume to speak for anybody else.
Okay, and I understand that. I'm an infidel, so I can do it. Two more questions.
Sure.
I told my audience I would never go to another Los Angeles Dodger game again in my lifetime, but I've reversed it. They're coming in to play the Mets on July 15th, and I'm going, and I'm going to stand up in my section and boo them when they run out on the field. I mean, I'm a Catholic laity. That's how I'm going to protest this. And you're right.
Yeah, well, I called for a boycott. I was out there for 6 years, a lot of friends in LA. In fact, I threw out the first pitch at a Dodgers game about 5 years ago. Love baseball. I know a lot of my Hispanic friends, of course, who are big baseball fans. And I said, I think until we get a formal public apology, there should be a boycott of the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm not a boycott guy because that's a fascist technique, but I agree with you that individuals should make up their own minds. And why are we giving an anti-Christian team, even though they have the faith and family night? So I'm going to try to get.
Convince us, though.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get the Jesus bobblehead if I can, and maybe they'll send one to me. so transparent.
It didn't convince us. It was rather a pathetic response.
How do people get in touch with you, Bishop?
Wordonfire.org is a good place to access all the material that I have, and they could, contact me directly that way too.
All right, and full disclosure, the bishop and I know each other, and I bought him dinner in Santa Barbara, but he didn't eat a lot, so it was good.
I remember that night. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bishop. We really appreciate your courage and you coming on the program. Thank you very much. The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year's stocks dropped a whopping 20%. 2023 could be worse. You are right to be worried. So call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I've been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers and have the highest rating in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Please tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201. That's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.